This is the honey locust tree. It's got insane thorns coming out of the trunk, coming out every single branch. These can go right through a tractor tire, car tire, bike tire, you name it. They are incredibly annoying, dangerous, and invasive. Welcome to the Faithful Farmstead. Today we're going to be talking about trees, specifically one tree that we have on our property that we need to get rid of because it is a direct spawn of Satan. So we're going to get rid of that. The honey locust tree is incredibly invasive and annoying because of the spikes. Not to be confused with the black locust, which also has spikes, but not like this. And the black locust is actually useful because it's a nice hardwood, it grows really fast. But the honey locust is insane because the thorns are really, really big, the whole way up the trunk, every single branch. Even when they're like this big, they have some thorns on them, and I'll show you what those look like. But they're incredibly invasive and grow super fast like a weed. So as you can tell, these can be pretty dangerous. This will go right through your boot, right through a tire, including a tractor tire, which is pretty insane. But they're really dangerous, and we don't want these around because we're going to have animals out here in the pasture, and they're starting to grow out there. And also the kids run around barefoot most of the summer, and these will literally go right through a boot like it's butter. So they are incredibly dangerous to have around. The challenging thing about getting rid of these honey locust trees is they will grow really, really fast if you chop them down. And what I mean by that is if I were to take this tree right behind me that I showed you earlier and just cut it down and chop it up, haul it off, get rid of it, every single root system that is in the ground with this tree will start sprouting new trees, like instantly. So if I just go ahead and chop this down, within a week, I'll have hundreds of little trees coming out of the ground trying to regrow. And I know that because the previous owners chopped one down over here. I'll show you that here in a second. They chopped one down probably right before we moved in. It looked like they tried to burn it. And there are new shoots coming up everywhere in our pasture. And I'll show you what those look like too. We have various stages of it. We have some that are this big. We have some that are already several feet high. We've been mowing it as much as we can, and that keeps them down before they get too big. But a few of them have gotten away from us, hiding in the weeds and stuff. So what I'm going to do with this tree is use some things that I normally don't use around here. You know, we are very adamant about gardening and doing things as clean as possible, no chemicals. But in this case, from what I've read, what I've researched, there's really no other way to get rid of these trees except using something like this. This is called Tordon. This doesn't have any sort of glyphosate in it from what I can see, but it is super potent with whatever's in here, and it's not natural. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut into the tree a little bit in a few different spots and just drip this in there, and the tree will take that in and kill it. And we're going to monitor the leaves over the next few weeks to make sure that they are turning brown and dying. I hope I'm not too close to fall where that's going to happen anyway. But once this tree is dead, then it's safe to cut down without having to worry about new shoots coming up everywhere. So we're out here in the pasture. There's a lot of weeds up here. Right over there is the other honey locust tree where we just came from. Right here on a rock is one that they had cut down and tried to burn. And this was right before we moved in, so this was probably about a year ago. Well, this thing sent new shoots everywhere, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so here's a good example of one, and this is only, I don't know, 30 feet from that stump I just showed you. You can see that this already has some pretty nasty spikes on it. Like, this is my finger, look at that spike next to it. Like, these are pretty significant already. So there's one. They're really everywhere around here. There's another one over there. There's another one right next to it here. So here's one growing up out of this rock. And honestly, this is about 2 feet, 3 feet high. This was 5 inches tall, maybe 2 months ago. And you can see how quickly they grow. This is a tree, not a weed. It's absolutely insane. So I gotta get rid of this as well. I'm also wearing my High C boots. Special shout out to High C. We absolutely love our boots. Tanya has a pair as well. And they have been awesome around the farm here. So thanks again to High C. Make sure you go check them out. I'll leave a link in the description below. I'm actually going to drill a few holes here as well, just for good measure. So that's really it. Just notch it out, pour that stuff in there, and then just wait for it to die. Once it dies, we'll chop it over. Hopefully I have a tractor by then, scoop it up, get it out of here, burn it, and should be good to go. Now I'm gonna go around and kill some of these other little ones. Okay, so I put the poison on as many as I could find, the biggest ones I could find, and hopefully the rest we can just kind of chop down and burn as we go. But yeah, now we just wait. We wait for these to die, and then we come through here again and clean it all up. But next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go mark some trees that need to come down this winter and this fall. Let's go. Honestly, the amount of trees that need to come down is almost overwhelming. This guy right here is broken, quickly dying. I think that's probably one we want to mark. So I don't forget, I'm just going to mark these. Some of them are not so obvious, but I want to do this now before all the leaves fall off, because once the leaves fall off, it's going to be a lot harder to determine what's dead and what's not. So this is a perfect time of year, right before everything dies back for the winter. Here's a little guy. Now some of these pretty obvious. I could come in here later, but just to make it easier on myself, I'm going to mark them. Well, as I was marking the trees, I'd left the camera sit and it started raining, so I had to run back to the camera, run inside before it got too wet. But here we are a few days later, and I'm just curious to see if the trees have died off at all, and what's happening with the ones that we put the stuff on. So let's check it out a little bit. All right, so this is one of the first ones I sprayed. Ouch. And I don't know if you can see that, but it's definitely dying back. See how brown those are? And down in there, I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but it's definitely dying slowly. This is one of the smaller ones I sprayed. I don't know, there's a couple big ones here. This one looks like it's starting to wither a little bit. It's probably hard to see with the sun, but I think these are definitely dying back, so that's really good. Well, if you're dealing with honey locust trees like we are, hopefully this video was helpful. Again, we hate using chemicals and try to avoid it at all costs on our homestead. But in this case, because these are so dangerous and a hazard to our equipment and stuff, we decided it's important to just get rid of them while we can before we have animals grazing out here, which is coming next spring. So hopefully we can get rid of these things, stick some sheep, pigs and stuff out here, and keep it down moving forwards. Thanks for watching. Appreciate your support. I know there's a lot of content out there, and we really appreciate that you're choosing to watch our videos, so it means a lot. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you found any value in this video, and we hope to see you in the next one.